Every night it's the same. I'm walking.
Hey everyone, it's T-Baby, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday weekend, enjoying it with family and friends. I am currently working on a dream video that requires a little bit more research than anticipated, but that is in the works. However, I didn't want to be away from you guys too long, so I decided why not talk about the chapter that kind of piqued my interest a little bit. I will go into basically Brand's thoughts and views on it, but the chapter has a lot going on with very little bit of action. But I find that, of course, these types of chapters have a lot going on from, even though it's a shorter chapter. So I figured why not talk about it? So I want to talk about, of course, A Clash of Kings, because that's my favorite book out of the series. And I want to talk about the fourth chapter, which is a Bran chapter. So at the beginning of this chapter, Bran feels as though Winterfell is a prison and that something is calling for him and he doesn't know why. Now within this, you also see that the wolves have been howling and they don't know why. They want to calm the wolves down and hush them, lock them away, but the wolves are howling. And Bran, being the curious child that he is curious and is trying to figure out why they are howling. And it's an interesting thing at the very beginning of the chapter that I want to read. Of late he often dreamed of wolves. They are talking to me, brother to brother, he told himself when the dire wolves howled. He could almost understand them. Not quite, not truly, but almost. As if they were singing in a language he had once known and somehow forgotten. The Walders might be scared of them, but the Starks had wolf blood. Old Nan told him so, though it is stronger in some than in others, she warned. First of all, whenever Old Nan says something, I treat it as if Martin wrote something twice. If you see Old Nan say something, you write it down, you remember it because it means something. No matter how small, how big, it means something. And I think within that, she's referring to that wolf blood. Robb and Sansa have the wolf in them. However, not so much of the wolf blood that they're wild and untamable. That is more of Rickon and Arya. They have that wolf blood where they act off of emotion and quick to anger, slow to think it through, but quick to anger and reaction. So I think that's what she meant, and you have to be careful because as we see, this the wolf blood in them, as far as with the Brandon Stark, which was Ned Stark's brother, he had the wolf blood, and you saw because he was so quick to action that it got him killed. And this is why I think that Arya and Rickon should be worried, because as you can see, Arya is basically a psychopath and she's killing everything for revenge. And then you have Rickon, who doesn't have boundaries and doesn't have that parental, so he's the wild wolf. Got really hyped off of that one, but so we see that through what Nan says, that you have to be a little bit concerned when you do have the wolf blood because of what happens, that untamable wild nature. You can't be wild and untamable in a civilization like Westeros. People like that, unfortunately, over the wall. But anyway, moving further on into this chapter, Bran is trying to figure out why they're howling because he wants to kind of communicate with his direwolves, and not just his direwolf, but also Shaggy Dog. So he asks a few people in Winterfell why could they possibly be howling. So Roderick tells Bran that they're howling, that no man can actually truly know why they're howling. The Kettle Master jumps in and says, you know what? They want their freedom. They're in here all walled up. They just want their freedom. Then the cook joins in and says, no, they want to hunt. They sense their prey. And then you have Maester Luwin, who says, they got the red comet that's out and they're confusing that with the moon. So it's interesting because when Bran repeats that, Osha hears it and says, the direwolves are way smarter than your maester. In fact, they know the truths of the old or something in that nature. And this actually made Bran shiver, which also kind of shows you Bran's intuition, because he picks up on the small details that outside in you would be kind of confused, because a woman telling you that, well, even if it was a man, but a person telling you that, it's that a direwolf knows the real truth. I don't think that would really like shiver me or make me nervous, but for some reason it did with Bran. And I think further on you'll see how Bran's curiosity is also one is also the big reason I think he's going to be a great green seer, because he is motivated by his curiosity. And as the chapter continues, he then asks Asha, well, what do you think the comment means? And she just tells him, blood and fire, nothing sweet. Later on, he asks Nan what he thought that the red comment meant. And she says, dragons. She's like, I can smell it. She can't really see, but she says, I can smell it. Once again, with Nan, what she says, I hold some truth to it, because usually she's right. But anyway, I think in the chapters the next day or so, and Bran remembers that what his brother Robb told him. And Robb told him that the direwolves howled because he had failed. The direwolves were howling when he wasn't conscious and he couldn't get out of bed. The direwolves even howled when they got the news that Ned Stark had passed away, even though Robb wonders how could they possibly know, but he says they know. So out of all the people that Bran had asked, why do they howl? Because he wants to understand the communication through them, Bran starts to worry that it might be that he feels that they're concerned because maybe Robb is in trouble, maybe Arya is in trouble, maybe Sansa's in trouble, maybe Jon fallen. He's now concerned about his brothers and sisters, the pack. So Bran starts to howl, and it's weird. The cool thing about it is that they somehow understood and they answered his call, and they started to howl with him. And it wasn't just Summer. Shaggy Dog started to howl with them, and it was just a powerful, I think I read it as a really powerful scene of this child who's broken and still finds a way to connect with his pack, to let him know, like, I hear you, and the concern for his brothers and sisters, because Roderick didn't give him an explanation. I mean, one where he understood what was really going on. The Kettle Master doesn't like the direwolves, and his dogs doesn't like the direwolves, so he's a little bit biased talking about they want freedom. He most likely wants them just to go, but at the same time, they could want freedom or want to be out of the cage because they sense danger. As far as the cook who says they sense their prey, it could be the Walders, because Walder Freys, we all know what they did to the Starks, so they could be wanting to hunt them because they see them as a threat. But overall, it was just very interesting that Bran doesn't take really what all of these people said, except for what his brother Robb said, which was they're howling for the family, for the pack. And so at that moment, Bran's connecting with the direwolves in their language, and they're howling for their pack, which is just incredible. But I think in order to know how incredible it is, you have to watch this cool documentary. I want to say it's Wolves of Yellowstone, but I'm pretty sure I might be wrong on the title. But in that documentary, the alpha wolf and the alpha male and the alpha female were attacked by a rival pack, and the younger pups were not old enough and more experienced enough to actually fight back, so had to flee. And when they all came together, the smaller pups were howling because of a social ranking change. And that's typically why wolves howl, is usually because of social rank change, because they are wanting to find another mate, or it's for mourning. So I thought it was interesting that out of all the people that he questioned to figure out what the howling was, he ultimately went for what his brother told him for the pack. So I that's something really kind of short. I don't want the video to be super long, but if you did like this chapter and you want me to continue further into this chapter, just give me a thumbs up and let me know down below, and we'll keep it moving, and there'll be a part 2. If not, then it is what it is. Once again, thank you guys for vibing out with me. It's always a pleasure. I'm now at 100 subscribers, so I'm actually excited. So once again, thank you guys for vibing out with me. Oh, I don't want to end this video without recommendations. And James Johnson and his mom, LaDonna. Hi guys. They have a cool video out about John and Danny possibly being twins. Tony, I just saw on my link that he had a video out, so I'm going to be checking that out after this video. I know my man Charlie has a new one about the tragedy of Summer Hall. Don Willie's always producing some good stuff. It's a lot of people producing a lot of more good, just Game of Thrones content in general. I think Don Kraken also has one. So definitely check these things out. I love to spread the love because the love was spread to me. So I want to continue to do these recommendations at the end of my videos. So this time I'm going to give you a recommendation from Ideas of Ice and Fire. He's a cool dude that does theory videos and what he just generally thinks of the series. And his videos are really laid back approach. You kind of feel like you're sitting down having a conversation with them, even though it's a recording. So I definitely like videos with YouTubers who make you feel like you're talking with them, not talking with them, but you feel like you're in a conversation with them and not just watching a video. So I will definitely link his channel down below. He did a really cool Shadows of a Shy where he had some interesting things that he pointed out. So I definitely will link that down below. And once again, you guys, I really hope you're having a fun weekend. And until the next time, thanks for vibing out with me.